A lot of Canadians are banking on their house for retirement, and this could create a retirement crisis in the future if the housing bubble keeps imploding. So let's get into this. And you've already heard that clip from the housing minister.
Housing prices in Vancouver went up while you were mayor. I want to ask you, why do you feel like you have the skills necessary to do this when you saw a 179% increase in Vancouver housing prices?
Yeah, we've seen increases like that across Canada over the past decade. Certainly since my time as mayor. No, I think that we need to deliver more supply, make sure the market is stable. It's a huge part of our economy.
But the interesting thing about that is that he doesn't actually control that. The housing market is a lot bigger than the government, or the housing bubble, should I say. The authors say Canada's largest real estate market, Ontario, is in disarray, and British Columbia, the market is struggling. Nationally, it continues to slow. So, I mean, those aren't good words, but if you get down into this is really interesting. The stats here just show how bad it may get for people retiring if the housing bubble keeps imploding. And get this, guys, this has been a worse crash than the 1990s, and we'll get into a chart that demonstrates just that in a minute. So for young and older homeowners, equity from their future sale of their houses is the critical piece in solving their retirement puzzle. Only 38% of the current workforce has the benefit of an employer-registered pension plan, with most being dependent on their own resources, yet less than 40% of Canadian tax filers contribute to a registered retirement savings plan or a tax-free savings account. But get this, today and for much of the last decade and more, many middle-class Canadians have been saving for retirement through their mortgage payments. The expected payout comes when they sell their homes and use all of the portion of the equity to generate passive income for retirement. And you can see basically how obvious that this is stacked like a house of cards. If you really think about it, everybody is banking on retirement by selling their home to the next fool down the road who's going to buy it, who's going to be banking on it for their retirement. And it's just not going to work when you're in this housing bubble. And you know, the environment that you've had over the past 20 years has been not normal in Canada. And that's mainly the thing that people need to accept here, is it hasn't been normal. And you know, Canada is in a depression, whether people want to believe it or not. This is a story that sums this up entirely, and I think it is really, really sad. So I'm going to read this back to you and just realize this story encapsulates the Canadian depression. So as I posted on X, works full-time, his partner can't find a job, thinking about ending it all. Only the kids are keeping this guy going. It is really, really sad. I live in Alberta and I don't know what to do. I'm working full-time and my partner has been looking for work and can't find anything. I'm always stressed and I feel like nothing I do makes any difference. Boils down to I can't afford to feed my kids and I barely get rent paid every month. And then I have maybe, if I'm lucky, $200 a month to get food and phone bill and gas for the car. I feel like giving up. I don't know how I can keep on going like this. I've asked family for help, but they can only do so much, and I feel like a loser and pathetic piece of waste asking them for help. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm broken. I've thought about ending myself, but I couldn't do that to my kids. That's the only thing that seems to keep me going. If you took the time to read this, I'm sorry for wasting your time on the ramblings of a nobody. And unfortunately, that is extremely sad, but that is the reality for so many Canadians out there. And that really is a depression in itself of these people who are living on the edge, literally. And, you know, they're thinking about just ending it all. And the government is happily making that an easier choice for them by promoting MAID and all these other things to now mental illnesses and other things that they want to do in the future, which is completely dystopian. But we've already seen in prior videos how people who are disabled are thinking about using MAID because they just can't afford to get by as well. And I think that is so fucked up. You know, Canada is such a fucked up place and such a fucked up country. And when you read stories like this, it pulls at your heart because you're like, man, that is just fucked so bad, and you just know that so many people are in the same boat as that person, and how many of these people are actually ending their lives. I mean, it's so fucking sad that that is happening, but I'm sure like this was going down in the Great Depression as well, and this is turning into a depression now in Canada. It's been a 2-year-long recession right now, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and the government, they're not going to come out and tell you it's a recession and things are bad because they want to sugarcoat everything. They're going to keep spending that money more and more and more just so they can pump up the numbers and make GDP look better, and also fund all their buddies companies and everything else, all the corruption that goes on and we know must go on in such a large government. So it really is absolutely sad. And then this is another one. New Canadian dream is to be able to feed yourself in the depression. And again, this is just so fucking sad, guys. I finally got a job after 6 months, and it's exciting to be able to afford groceries. I mean, what the fuck? Finally got a job after 6 months, and I'm excited about being able to buy groceries. I mean, this is the Canadian depression. People are just excited about being able to feed themselves. I mean, what the fuck has Canada become to get to a place like this where it brings excitement that people can actually afford food? I mean, this is something that you would think would happen in third world countries, but no, it's happening in Canada. After tirelessly searching for a job, I was able to finally land one which starts at $24 an hour. The first thought I have after I received the offer was, yay, I can afford groceries now and splurge a bit for myself. It's honestly exciting, but it's pretty sad that all I can think about right now is affording groceries. Yeah, affording groceries in the current state of the economy and recession is a big deal to me. And isn't it funny how people in this categorize it as a recession, but the mainstream media, the financial media, the government, they all say, oh no, Canada is not in a recession right now.
Our economy is very strong.
Well, it might be in a recession right now, but for the past 2 years, they've been saying, no recession to see here. There's going to be some sort of strength soon. It's coming. Just wait there. It'll eventually come. And it never arrives. The economy just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. It's like these people have the lack of ability to just look ahead and see what is happening with this economy, which is it is collapsing. So it's just absolutely crazy. And then Red Pill Rick put this: Canada real estate news. In 1980, the average home price was around $70,000 and the average income was around $29,000 for a Canadian family, meaning the average home price was only 3 times more than their average income, which makes sense. And you know, right now I want to compare something because I want to show you how this market has actually declined more than in the 1990s bubble. So let's get into that because it is key. So what's key about this chart as well is this chart is adjusted for inflation. You have a chart that's adjusted for the CPI. It's not real inflation. So we know it's been way worse than this. So if you look at the mania phase, which is here from 2019 to 2022, and now we are in the bubble unraveling phase. You have not seen a decline like this in 2008, in the 1990s, pretty much any other time than what we're seeing right now. And if you look at the index, it peaked at around 72 here and it got as low as 57. But if you look at this, it went from 200 down to 153. So I'll put the percentage changes on the screen now of how much this decline is during this housing bubble implosion that we're witnessing now versus the decline that was seen in the 1990s and how much the index went down then, because it shows you the collapse, because it is obvious right now that the Canadian housing bubble is in fact imploding. One cannot look at a chart like this and say, oh, there is not a crash, Luke. I mean, you have to look historically as well. And this is as far as the chart goes back to the 70s. So you're talking about over 50 years worth of data. You've never seen a decline like this in the housing market. So to anybody who's not calling it a crash, you need to look at the hard data here, because it is definitely a crash. And if you use a more realistic gauge on inflation, which you had back in the 1980s and the 1990s, then it would be even worse than the situation that people are experiencing right now. This is the Canadian Depression, and the reality is this is going to continue, because at the moment there is no light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how hard that everybody wants to wish for it, we have to look at it and take rose-tinted glasses off if you're wearing them and say, no, this is the reality. And all the cities across the country are collapsing. You are just seeing how they are being destroyed from the inside out. The downtown cores are just full of drug addicts, homeless people. I mean, Vancouver looks like zombie land. It's really like zombies just everywhere. And it's just an absolute shame that it has come to this, because Canada could be a really great nation, but unfortunately, it's a really corrupt one. So guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out this video here. And if you're looking for a VPN and also want to help support the channel, please go to ExpressVPN. Links are in the description. I would really appreciate that. I use that VPN all the time, and trust me, it is the best VPN out there. I've tried loads. So anyway, I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.